Imagine a number so controversial that for centuries, Europe's greatest mind called it fictitious, satanic, and absurd. How can you have less than nothing? The question baffled them. But halfway across the world, one man had already solved the puzzle. He called positive numbers as dhana, which means wealth, and negative numbers as rin, which is death. For him, maths wasn't an abstract line. It was a reflection of life. Zero was stability. Wealth was a move into the positive, debt a move into the negative. It was a revolutionary way of thinking that laid for the foundation of mathematics we use today. This is the story of Brahmagupta. Let me take you back in time to 4th century where India experienced the golden period. Its scholars developed one of the richest mathematical tradition in the world, making incredible leaps in arithmetic, algebra, geometry and astronomy. Much of this development happened under India's most celebrated dynasty, the Guptas, who ruled over large parts of North India from 4th century to 6th century. This was an era of self-confidence where art, science and philosophy came together and was known across the world. This was the age that built Nalanda, the world's oldest universities, which attracted thousands of students across Asia. Now, this was built 100 years before Oxford or Cambridge even existed. This period was beautifully captured by the Chinese scholar Fa Hing during his long stay in India. The people in this period had a mastery of science that makes you marvel. Look at the iron pillar of Delhi. For over 1600 years, it stood out in the open air without rusting. Looking at the metallurgy makes you even wonder how they did. This was a period of the poet Kalidasa, who composed the beautiful poem Meghadutam, the cloud messenger, expressing love to the beloved. Science and spirituality weren't seen as different. Mathematics and astronomy were a part of the grand discipline called Jyotish, the science of heavens. They studied stars not just out of curiosity, but to understand the universe and our place in it. It was at the peak of the Gupta period that Aryabhatta studied the symbol for nothing, zero, a placeholder that actually makes calculation possible today. And when the Gupta period was about to end, a new genius was born. He inherited the work of Aryabhatta, and in zero, he saw the creation of the whole new universe. So, who was this man? Brahmagupta was born in 598 CE in present-day Rajasthan. Just like his father, he considered himself an astronomer and an astrologer. It was one and the same at his time. He was brilliant, but fiercely sharp-tongued and was known for criticizing the work of masters who came before him. He studied the great astronomical texts of his time, but to truly make a difference, he had to go to the heart of the action. And that's why he set off to Ujjain, the science center of ancient India. It is just like the Silicon Valley of today. And it's here, at the young age of just 30, that he sits down to write his masterpiece, the Brahmasputra Siddhant, which means the system of God of creation and astronomy. The very first verse tells you everything you need to know about his incredible confidence. Brahmoktam gragganitam mahata kalen yat khilibhutam abhidhyate sutam tat jishnusut brahmagupte. The translation is, the planetary calculations explained by Brahma have decayed because of passage of a long time. Hence, a correction is presented by Brahmagupta, son of Jishnu. Stop and think about that. This was no ordinary scholar who was updating a textbook. This was a scientific revolutionary who wanted to fix the work of God because it was no longer accurate. It was this fearless mindset that set him apart, which made him possible to think beyond and discover this amazing mathematical operations. Modern mathematicians still marvel at the originality and works of Brahmagupta in algebra, geometry, astronomy, and number theory. So, what did he do that was so revolutionary? Let's break down four of his biggest contributions. Brahmagupta's genius was to treat the number 0 in its own right. He gave the arithmetical operations to be followed in his book Brahmasputra Siddhant. Brahmagupta gave solutions to the general linear equation like ax plus b equal to c. In fact, he went on to find solutions for the quadratic equation. Remember, in class 10th you have done the formula minus b plus or minus under root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Yes, imagine the West discovered the negative numbers as late as 15th-16th century, where Brahmagupta in 7th century had found the roots of the quadratic equation, including the negative roots. Also, he went on to solve Pell's equation. He had a secret weapon. He used a powerful and elegant method called Kutaka. The name literally means the pulverizer. His technique took large difficult numbers and systematically crushed them into smaller numbers. Let's take an example. The puzzle is to find the smallest number that satisfies the following conditions. So how do you start? You equate the two equations. Then take the variables on the left hand side and you get 7x minus 5x is minus 1. Isolate y. So you get y as 5x minus 1 upon 7. Now, it's clear that the numerator 5x minus 1 should be a multiple of 7 to get an integer solution. So take it as 7k. So now solve for x. So you get 7k plus 1 upon 5. Again, k has to be a number such that 7k plus 1 is a multiple of 5. So k has to be 2. So you get x equal to 3 and y equal to 2. Brahmagupta's most famous result in geometry is solving the cyclic quadrilateral. That is, a quadrilateral which is inscribed in a circle. When the four sides are given, he found out how to find the area of the cyclic quadrilateral. That is under root of s minus a, s minus b, s minus c and s minus d. Remember the Heron's formula where you find the area of a triangle given the three sides. Under root of s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c. Now this is a simplification of Brahmagupta's work. And the fourth, this must be the most shocking of all contribution. That is the law of gravity. Yes, you heard me right. That is 1000 years before Isaac Newton discovered the law of gravitation. Brahmagupta had written in his book Brahmasputra Siddhant that Earth attracts, it pulls things, just like water flows. Now this was a very basic law on the universal gravitation. He had not shown the whole working. But imagine at his time coming to a conclusion that Earth attracts, the objects are pulled to the Earth. That is an interesting observation, right? So how did this incredible knowledge break out of India and change the world? It was a well-kept secret for thousands of years. That changed in the year 773. A caravan arrived in Baghdad, the glittering city, the new city of Baghdad. And the most precious cargo was not gold or spices. It was this book. Yes, it was Brahmagupta's work, which the Arabs called it as Sindh. The Caliph, a great lover of science, immediately translated it to Arabic. And that lit the fire of discovery for the Islamic Golden Age. A few decades later, at Baghdad's House of Wisdom was this brilliant Persian mathematician named Al-Khwarizmi, who studied this translated Indian text. Now he beautifully combined the work of Brahmagupta with the Greek maths and converted into a simple text, which was named as Algebra. And that's how you get the word algebra. Now Al-Khwarizmi has given full credit to the Hindu mathematician. He studied Brahmagupta's rule for zero, negative numbers, and the decimal point representation and converted into such a simple work that it spread to Europe like wildfire. But though Brahmagupta's work reached all over the world, he was lost in translation. So why don't we study about Brahmagupta in our classroom? Why isn't he famous like Pythagoras or Newton? If there is one severely neglected or least popular mathematician, or in fact an unknown mathematician, it would be Brahmagupta. The reasons could be many. In ancient India, knowledge was transmitted orally, and again the information was in complex sutras, and again the focus was on the work and not on the personal details of the scholar. I'm left wondering, how can we leave celebrating the work of Brahmagupta in India even after 75 years of independence? At least Al-Khwarizmi in his book had credited the Hindu mathematicians, and that's why the Arabic numerals he calls it as Hindu numerals. Brahmagupta though did such an important work in mathematics, but his work has got lost in translation. But it is time to rectify this. His work itself is in the form of poems, an art form. Even though there are some mistakes in his work, and just like Ramanujam, sometimes he had failed to provide elaborate steps, but it is worth following what he has achieved in mathematics. Bhaskara himself, considered one of the greatest of all time, gave one man the ultimate title, Ganaka Chakra Chudamani, the jewel in the crown of mathematician. Sharing the story of Brahmagupta isn't just about nationalism or competing with Greek and Roman history. It is about giving credit where credit is due. It is about sharing with our children the complete honest story about Indian genius. Brahmagupta didn't just open the universe with his work. In fact, he gave the language to describe it. And for that, his name needs to be remembered. Now, Brahmagupta's work is vast and still underappreciated. If you're a scholar or have resources connected to his work, please share in the comments. Let's collaborate, dig deeper, and find out more about our incredible Bharat. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.